Hello, and welcome once again to the Dental Marketing Mastery Series. This podcast is brought to you by dentalwebcontent.com and New Patients Incorporated. I'm Howie Horrocks, the founder of New Patients Incorporated. Along with me once again is my friend and partner and the president of New Patients Incorporated, Mark Dilatush. Hello, everybody. Once again, we're here with our weekly podcast. How you doing over there, Mark?
I'm doing just fine, sir. It's the middle of August in New Jersey, so it's 90 and 90. 90 degrees, 90% humidity.
You're in a 90-90 environment now.
Yeah, I went running the other day. I run either 3 or 4 days a week, and it was Saturday. It was Saturday, and I figured, you know what? Saturday afternoon, we had some stuff to do in the morning, so. What a mistake. The sun came out. I had no air. Normally I can run, quite a ways, right? Without having to stop. 2 or 3 miles or so. And not so on Saturday. So we're dealing with 90s and 90-90.
Oh, gosh. Okay. Well, there you go. What are we talking about today? Something about competition, correct? Who are they? How are they promoting their practice? And why does it matter?
Yes.
Yes.
We get all kinds of... by the way, if anybody wants to send us a topic or a question or a situation, or we're not going to use your name or anything, right? But if you send us a challenge that you're having, a marketing challenge that you're having, send it to Mark D, MARKD, at newpatientsinc.com. And we'll make a big deal out of it, or do a podcast, and, send you a cookie.
We'll send you a cookie.
I'll send you a cookie. All right, so competition. I think it's reasonable for us to recognize that many dentists, I'm not going to say all dentists, but I'm going to say many dentists, don't even like to recognize that they have competition.
Yes.
Okay? So we're not being judgmental. We're just being observing. Okay? Because we can't count how many times dentists that say, well, I don't really have any competition. Okay. So, we love you all, and we believe you believe that. Okay. But, it's funny. You pay us not to believe that. You pay us to recognize who your competition is and create marketing plans more effective than your competition does. If we can't do that, you should fire us. Okay? Okay? Because we're not the right people for you. You should hire their marketing firm. Okay? Whoever's kicking your butt, right, in the marketplace. So, I think it's really, really important for, maybe we need to use a different word than competition. Maybe we need to, I don't know. I just can't think of a different word. So we're going to leave it. We're going to call it competition. But everybody has to realize that everyone in the world is competing on some level. It is important to recognize, because once you recognize where it's coming from, you can choose then to ignore it, or you can choose to add wrinkles to your marketing, actually to exploit it. It doesn't make sense, logical sense. Somebody says competition and exploit it, but you'll learn why here in a second.
Yeah, a little comment, if I might, Mark. It was popular some years back for dentists to say, well, the real competition we have is, patients going on vacations or buying expensive Nikes for their kids, that sort of thing, right? And that's where they spend their money rather than on dentistry. And okay, that's fine. We can consider that to be competition. But
absolutely, that's competition for money.
Exactly. But likewise, the practice down the street, that's competition. And I know that we don't like to brand colleagues that way, or it's somehow demeaning to them, but it isn't. It's just the fact of life. The dental consumer has a choice whether to give their money to you or the guy across the street. Okay, and that's just the way it is, right?
Yeah. So this is There's all kinds of micro and macro competitions happening simultaneously. It's sort of like putting a spoon in a bowl and mixing up a whole bunch of ingredients, and it just constantly churns and stirs and mixes. So this podcast is about, who are they? How are they promoting their practices, and why does it matter? Well, Howie uncovered one competition, which is everybody's in competition for available spending dollars. Everybody is. Amazon is, Walmart is, the real estate people, everybody, everyone selling anything is in competition with everyone else that's selling anything for available dollars. So that's a very good point. I'll add to that. The number of dentists in your market serving the available population creates what we call a doctor-patient ratio. That will numerically measure supply and demand. So supply and demand, the supply of dentists in a market area is your competition. The demand of the consumer either shrinks the competition or expands the competition. Okay. How? Now, this is the part of this that initially may sound counterintuitive. Normally, you would say competition, and you would not say, well, let's exploit our competition. Okay. But if you have dentists in your market who are promoting their practice a certain way, let's go through the relatively easy to recognize scenarios that happen, I don't know, tens of thousands of times each month in the US. The easiest ones to recognize are the dentists who are spending their marketing dollars promoting niches rather than general dentistry or family dentistry. Another one is another really easy to recognize competition or way that other doctors in your market are promoting is how they promote based on price, or they don't promote based on price. Are they selling a price point or an offer, or are they selling the benefits of dentistry? That's really easy for you to recognize. And no matter what ad it, if it's online, offline, doesn't matter what kind of an ad it is. So now you say, okay, well, I have this many dentists in my market, and this many dentists are promoting actively. I see them spending money on marketing. I see it in my home in the mail, or I see it online in the Google ads, or I see it through the reviews, or I see it I see it everywhere. I have this many people competing for the same dental consumers in the same general core market as me. They seem to be spending money on advertising, which means I probably should. They seem to be paying attention to their online reputation, which means I should. 2 or 3 of them offer online scheduling right off their computer, right off their website. Maybe that's something I should consider. All of these dentists are offering a certain menu of services. Maybe I should jot down that menu and see if there's anything that I do that is different. And all of you have things that are different, not just services. What if we looked at amenities? technologies, conveniences, financial arrangements. What if all the other offices in your general market, are offering X, but they don't mention it in any of their advertising because they're too busy advertising a low price point?
Right. They did that. Their real estate, if you look at it that way, is taken up by the promotion of a price incentive.
Right.
And it could be being used to promote Invisalign, for example.
Right. So you have the same number of competitors, the same amount of money they're spending on their own marketing. You can see what they're promoting. You can see if they're promoting certain services, amenities, technologies, conveniences, public relations assets. You can line up everything that you see visibly, and you can say to yourself, well, what are some of the things what are my advantages versus this list? Do I necessarily have to use price to promote dentistry? Well, if you don't, that'll be different than 99% of the advertising you see on the streets.
Definitely.
Right?
Different. Yeah.
That's where lining up your competition, okay, and just taking a look, like it's sort of like it's just a list, right? You just jot down, yeah, they're doing this, they're doing that. Looks like they're spending this much. They're advertising this. They have this kind of deal, this kind of offer. And you make up a list and you say to yourself, well, should I do all the things that most of my competitors in my market are doing? Won't that dilute the message? And if I don't use those same messages, won't that make my marketing that much more effective? Won't that make the perception of my practice that much more different? Won't that separate me from the pack in case 8, 9, 10 other dentists in my market are basically doing the same thing? And I say that because 99% of you have dentists in your market who are doing basically exactly the same thing.
Great. Let's take a short break here, Mark, and we'll be back. So don't go away. Hello, everybody. This is Howie Horrocks, and along with me is Mark Dilatush, the president of New Patients Incorporated. How you doing, Mark?
Hey, Howie. How are you? This is the part of the podcast where we get to brag about our company.
Yay.
So sometimes it gets lost in all these podcasts what New Patients Incorporated actually does. We have, I don't know how many podcasts, 75, 80, one a week for well over a year. And all of you listen to these a half hour at a time, and you might lose sight of what we do. So here's the short answer. We do everything we're talking about in these podcasts on behalf of our clients. Okay. The podcasts are there for our clients, of course, just so they understand what the heck we're doing, but also for the doctors who are do-it-yourselfers. If you're not a do-it-yourselfer and you want someone to do this for you, newpatientsinc.com. There's an icon in the dead center at the top of our homepage where you can get a complimentary marketing plan. A series of questions will need to be completed. And once you complete that, we will analyze your market area, develop a marketing plan, and get on the phone with you, discuss all the sections of the marketing plan, just to make sure you understand a couple of things: what you're up against, what your expectations should be, and what Mark and Howie would do if we owned your dental practice.
All right, we are back. Yes, competition.
Dentists doing the same thing. Yeah. That's basically what we should call this podcast, because it's so because we have these when we do marketing plans, when we build marketing plans because dentists will engage with, they're not clients yet. They'll engage with us just to see if they want to be a client. And we always build them a marketing plan that doesn't cost anything. But when we do that, we always analyze the market area and we align all the assets we can see, all the doctors' marketing assets that we can see. When I say see, in a browser, on the internet. And then we do searches for their competition. And we try to ascertain as best we can, get an idea of what we're up against, what those other dentists are doing, how they're positioned, what their reputation is, some of the services, amenities, and conveniences the competition is at least advertising. And, we always get a list of marketable attributes for all of our clients and prospective new clients. And we try to see, what part of that list isn't being advertised in their market area. Now, obviously, there's a lot of things we can't see. We can't see magazines or mail or anything like that. But usually, if you just kind of browse through the competitors on the internet, you get a really good idea of what the competition's doing. When you do an analysis for Google PPC ads, which is basically required before we'll even take on a new AdWord campaign client, not only can you see it, but you can statistically measure it. So you can say, okay, how many competitors do you have for which of these keywords? How many times are people typing in these keywords and phrases? How much are these competitors spending? When are they placing their ads throughout the month? I mean, there's just a ridiculous amount of data that you can collect on your competitors.
It's pretty transparent, isn't it? That's amazing.
Yeah, it is. It is. And that tells us, should the dentist even spend money, right, on Google AdWords? And if so, where, which subjects are would pose the least risk, all the way down to the most risk for their for their marketing dollar. Anyway, the point is that this is all competition. And competition requires, if you really want to squeeze like you're wringing out a dish drying rag, if you really want to squeeze everything you can out of your advertising budget, which everybody listening to this podcast is automatically going to raise their hand. Of course, I want to do that, just like we do. Then it really will be a good service to you to communicate the importance of measuring your competition, seeing what they're doing, how they're doing it, and trying to come up with a list of items on your end that they are not. List of services, amenities, technologies, conveniences, public relations assets, whatever things you possess in your dental practice that they are ignoring. Now, the two that we've identified immediately are if they're promoting based primarily on a price point, and you'll see this in mail, you'll see it on websites, you'll see it in Google Ads. You'll see it all over sometimes you'll even see it on their Facebook page, okay? If you see it anywhere in there, then you can just assume that the rest of their advertising, whatever they're doing, even if you can't see it, is also trying to promote dentistry based on some kind of a reduced price point, usually for an exam. And what you take away from that is, if I don't do that, if I don't try to get the phone to ring based on a price point or a reduced fee, then I am automatically different. I am automatically speaking to people who kind of get turned off.
Yeah, you're actually choosing a better audience.
Yeah. Well, you're right. That's actually what you're doing. But in order for you to make sense of it for yourself personally in your own little micro market, right? Which a marketing company, we can see a lot of data. We can do all kinds of measurements, but we can't, we're not on your kitchen table. We don't know what the kind of mail you get. We can't see every dentist's office that's in the local newspaper or in the local community magazines or whatever. I mean, only you can see that stuff. So it really is a great exercise. Maybe you could do this maybe over the next 90 days, is just accumulate the pieces that you might get in the mail, something in money mailer. Maybe you maybe sit down on a rainy Sunday for an hour with your laptop and just type in dentist near me. In your browser, right?
Maybe. A little industrial espionage.
Yeah, exactly. Industrial espionage, right? Just type dentist near me and see the Google map. Look at the ads above the Google map. Who are those people? What are they promoting? Do you see implants for $15.99? Well, now you know what they're promoting. Okay. You can click through them. It's going to cost somebody $8, but they'll get over it. And then go look and see what the landing page is, what the offer is, what their call to action is. Okay. And just start to make a list. This is my competition. This is what they're doing. And then at some point you come down to, what can I do with my marketing budget that's different than what everyone else is doing? And what you're going to end up with, here's where you're going to end up. You're going to end up largely where we are, where we take our clients. Okay. We take our clients on the opposite end of the consumer spectrum. We take them to the point where we're not basing promotion on volumes of calls of shoppers. We're not basing promotion. Honestly, we base our promotion on trying to drive the highest first year average revenue.
Yep.
That's where everything is driven. If I get an average first year revenue of 1,100 out of a market like, Cleveland, I'm disappointed. Should be around 1,435. That's average. Right.
Yeah.
So everything, right. Everything is driven toward first year average revenue per new patient. Right. In order to do that, you have to do, this whole podcast is about hopefully trying to get you out of your dentist shell to say, no, wait a second. I am a business person. I do own a business. I have employees. I just pay my taxes, right? They sure tax me like a business, right?
Yeah.
So I must be one. So I must have competition. Now I don't have to, hate the dentist down the street. That's not what we're saying. We're just saying, hey, look at their marketing assets. Look at their marketing liabilities. Understand where you are in relation to them. And that'll start to paint a picture of where the majority of your marketing budget should go. This is exactly the steps we take when we build marketing plans. We line up assets of the dentist. We line up assets of the competition. We take a look at everything that the dentist, can say about themselves that doesn't have anything to do with a reduced price point. And we line everything up, not just according to what the practice possesses, but according to what we can see their competition, the mistakes their competition is making. Basically, we leverage the mistakes your competition makes. Basically. Yeah. Okay. People ask us all the time, for a recipe. I mean, there's lots of pieces to it, but in the end, we get the results we get because we're not doing the same thing everybody else is doing. Okay, I know this sounds oversimplified, but it's true. It's absolutely 100% true. And what we just shared with you was a little piece. And I think dentists should do this on their own. I don't think they should rely on us to do it for them. I think if they actually go out and look themselves on that rainy Sunday with their laptop, they'll get a much clearer, more defined picture of what they are up against and how not to be the 10th, 12th, 15th, 18th dentist saying exactly the same thing. That never makes sense with a marketing budget.
Right. Well, all right. We hope you've enjoyed this podcast today, and we hope you will continue to tune in. We like that, don't we, Mark?
It was pretty intense. Sorry if I got intense. And it's okay if you listen to this podcast and say, "Nah, I don't have any competition." That's okay. Nobody will judge you.
Yeah, no, we're good. We're good. Anyway, thank you all. We'll see you again next time. Bye now. We hope you've enjoyed our podcast today. You can find more podcasts on our YouTube channel, on Stitcher, and iTunes. Also on our websites, dentalwebcontent.com and newpatientsinc.com.